I chose Les because I've been following around the women's hockey team for 3 years, and I've been watching him as a coach and him with his players, and he's a guy who's very interesting to me. I want to know what motivates him to do what he does.
First impressions of Les. I was scared, to be honest with you. There's a lot that goes along with his name. Just ask anyone in women's hockey who Les Lawton is, and they certainly have heard the name and know the story.
I knew early on that I wanted to be a coach, and the advice was if you want to, start early in your life and make a career out of it if you start early enough. Be aggressive on her, okay, on the penalty kill, guys, okay?
Aggressive on
Yeah, aggressive on her, okay? Can't give her the space like that. Yeah. I started coaching when I was 16 years old in boys hockey in the local area here, and fell in love with it. I really enjoyed it when I was 16 years old, and I've continued coaching since then, coaching both boys teams and for the last 25 years women's teams. It's a one-man show pretty much, and that's the way I like it.
And what a show it has been. With 500 wins, 19 conference championships, and back-to-back national championships, Lawton has cemented his legacy. What keeps him going?
I think what keeps me going is I really feel it's my job for my athletes for me to help them reach their potential, both athletically and academically. So I take a lot of pride in watching our players develop as people and as athletes. Right there, that's it. At the net, guys, at the net, everything at the net. MJ, get her!
I'm right.
Lucky there. I think I'm a fair coach. I think that I'm very fair with my athletes. I think that you would probably get, I've got a good sense of humor. But of course, winning is very important to me. I like to win, and there's not a better feeling in the world than going out and winning something, especially when you have 25 enthusiastic and passionate players that are behind you. And
when it's time to practice hard, we practice hard, but he also, we scrimmage, we play games, we play silly games. He cracks jokes in between when you're waiting for your turn in line. So he really keeps it light and fun, which I think is what motivates people to practice harder.
Open your eyes, ref! I always felt that I owed something to the game because I played the game, and I always felt that I wanted to be a bit of a leader in my community. My father was a homicide detective, so I think that the life that he went through and the life that I'm going through are much different, but I think both very well respected in the sense that they are looked on positively from a community point of view. Here it is. Yeah! I'm not sure if I'd ever want to coach my kids, but my daughter is getting ready to come to university, and that's something that I've never coached her. I've never coached any of my kids. I'm not sure if that'll happen, and it'll be interesting to see if it does happen.
So there are some things left for Lawton to do before he walks away from the game. For Concordia Reports, I'm Jared Book.
I decided to do a story on Senya because she has a type of music and she plays a type of music that's kind of different from what I usually listen to. And I heard her sing and fell completely in love with the way it is and the songs and the lyrics. And I just felt that there was a story behind there.
I know you're busy with your new life.
Senya Sargent is 23 years old, and like most artists, her love for music started at a very young age, with the help of her mother and a hippo.
My first love was actually like Anne Murray, Hippo in the Tub. There's a hippo in my tub. My mom would start cleaning, every time she'd clean, and I would beg her for I didn't know what it was called. I just said put the one with the hippo in the tub.
But just like her mother helped her find her first love, she was also the cause of Senya's new love.
I went through a really hard time when my mom left when I was 14, and I discovered the blues. And that was it for me.
with inspirations such as B.B. King, Janis Joplin, and Jimi Hendrix, to name a few. Senya uses her music as a therapy.
Baby, I went wrong. Yeah, I know. But it's been too long. I'm not as sorry as I used.
The songs she has written reflect her mood, whether she's happy, sad, or angry. They are slowly helping her get past her mother's actions.
When I say pieces of her, I mean like remnants of the pain that she like brought to so many people, like, and still does. You know what I mean? But if it's not written solely about her, it's inspired by her. Is what I mean. Yeah. What she's done and things I've learned from what she's done, and like still learn every day and try to figure it out. It's something that you just don't really let go of, I guess. Or some people do, I don't. I'm trying to, but...
Senya has only been playing the guitar for 3 years, but her talent has made her a part of a new Montreal band called Ladies of the Canyon. Jasmine, Mia, Anna, and Senya, the 4 members of Ladies of the Canyon, are writing songs together, lining up gigs until the summer, and have just finished recording an EP. Their next show will be at Le Divan Orange in Montreal on March 20th. For Concordia Reports, I'm Debbie Boyne.
So I chose to talk to Paul because I wanted to find out what motivates someone to get on a bike every day and work incredibly hard with the commitment level of a professional athlete right through the winter, year after year, for like no money, no job security. What would make someone want to do that and to keep doing that year after year? So I wanted to find out what drives these people.
My day, it's stop and go. I'll go out and work for a half an hour, and then I'll come back and warm up a bit. I've been doing it for about 9 years now. Sometimes I'll take a few months here or there, I'll go work somewhere else, but always eventually just like dirty water swirling down a bathtub drain, I always come back to being a courier again. So this is a particularly chilly day. I think it's the coldest day of the year so far, which isn't so bad because usually what I worry about the most is it being slushy. Because when it's slushy, I get soaked, and that's really uncomfortable. It's impossible to keep warm when you're wet, but when it's cold, you just bundle up well, drive very carefully, and there should be no problem. Nowadays, I work for myself. I don't work for a courier. Well, I work one day at a courier company, but most of the time I'm working for myself with my business partners, Tom and Steve, at Independent Messenger, the first Montreal bicycle courier owned and operated courier company. Nice thing about the winter is the drivers, very nice, much nicer than in summer when they're actually, a lot of the time, trying to kill me. In the time that I've been a courier, one guy's been killed, another guy's been paralyzed, countless broken arms and broken legs and so on. And my friend Liam, who in fact was just with me before, he was the one standing beside me, he was very badly hurt last year, like almost killed, like just within an inch of his life. And because I'm a courier, like most of my best friends and so on are couriers, and so I have to, like, occasionally they get hurt, and it's hard. It's hard to deal with your good friends getting hurt. I think it changes you in some way. It's very hard to define, but being out under the open sky day after day and just making your own way in the outdoors in a pretty harsh environment where you have to keep a good heart and good, you have to keep alert to, like, and you live by your wits. So it feels very human. I feel very alive. I feel like a man. kind of. I feel like I'm really living a human life that's worth living. Hey! Oh, nice to see you. Long time no see.
T'es pas obligé de diviser avec le cantonais. Ok, je comprends.
People, as they become more experienced couriers, they work harder and harder, they earn more money, but there's always like a cutoff point where you can't earn any more money, you have to make more money, so you have to leave the job. And I suppose like I've already really reached that point. I really have to be finding more profitable work. And maybe, might be another 1 or 2 years before I actually get off my ass and do something about it, but yeah, at this point, it's already not worth it. It's never worth it. It's worth it only because it's fun and because all my friends are couriers.
Well, I chose to do my story on Seba because I feel that his story is really compelling. I mean, like, he's not your typical 24-year-old based on the choices he made, what he believes in, and the experiences he faced. Imagine only having 5 more years left to live. This is a reality faced by 24-year-old Seba Musa. Strangely, he isn't terminally ill.
I'm pretty distraught all the time, thinking about the end of the world.
Musa, along with thousands of others, believes in the Illuminati, a faith which prophesies the world will end by 2012. Many would say he's crazy, but to his defense, he graduated high school with honors and was accepted to Marianapolis. Surprisingly, he chose not to attend the prestigious school.
I was about to, but I don't know. There was a stronger force calling me, something telling me to stay away.
But what force can compel a bright young man to trade in a promising future for a one-room apartment? Do you have any regrets?
Well, I guess for starters, my family disowned me. I was, you know, they didn't believe in the same things I believed in. They wanted me to go to school, become a doctor, and so they eventually kicked me out.
Although Musa spends a lot of time smoking and drinking, he still finds time to read books based on enlightenment.
I might say about 12 hours a day I spend reading these books, widening my knowledge of such things. Enlightenment, I'd say I'd spend 100% of my day reaching enlightenment. I'm reaching enlightenment as we speak.
After spending several hours with Musa, it was nearly midnight, and Seba will be preparing for enlightenment. Unfortunately, Musa denied us permission, but he did let us see his preparation. These rituals strengthen his spirit, which helps him deal with the end of days.
Feel good. My mind is at ease. My body is one. I can begin to understand the peaceful state of tranquility and how to deal with this threat, the end of the world.
I guess only time will tell if Musa is wasting his time in vain, or if he will be well prepared to survive the end of days. Isaac Eniojukin, Concordia reports.
I chose Kader because at some point in my life, I may have passed him on the street, but I don't think anyone I know would be able to relate to him now. I wanted to meet him because his life is so unlike my own. Situated in Point St. Charles, St. Gabriel's looks like just another Montreal church. But for one Algerian refugee, this is home. Abdelkader Balaouni has been in sanctuary for 14 months while fighting for permanent Canadian status.
I think I have to be patient, but I was patient all my life.
He makes the most of his time by staying productive and keeping his mind occupied.
It's 14 months affected my life. Here I feel like my life is stuck. It's not like we're outside, you can do a lot of things. Here anyway, here I can do, like I said, I give some classes. I give Arabic classes, I give French classes. Now I took piano classes and I studied to take guitar classes now. That's it. I have 5 activities. I think it's a lot. Yeah.
Although he stays active indoors, the only time he goes outside is for a cigarette.
You know, like everybody said to me, it's sunny outside. It's my body, it's affected because I never, my body, like the sun touched my body. For many days I feel only sad. I asked my doctor, she told me, yes, of course. Because your body doesn't, the sun never touch your body, that's why you're like this, Kader.
Cather's hopeful that he will get the support other refugees have received from the Canadian government.
Maybe one day I will be accepted too.
For Concordia Reports, I'm Caroline Fernandez.
Well, everyone chose someone else, but I decided to choose myself because sometimes I feel like I'm living a double life, and I wanted to get to know myself better. I arrived here in 2004, but before that I spent close to 10 years at this Muslim boarding school in Cornwall, Ontario. My mission? To memorize the Quran word for word in Arabic and to study Islamic theology. When I graduated in March 2004, I was ready to be an imam or a religious studies teacher. Since then, I've been struggling to balance the two. I'm faced with choices daily, what I listen to,
Be really surprised if he's able to.
what I do online, what I read in my free time. Tell me a bit about yourself. Well, I'm what you can call a freelance imam. An imam is either a religious leader or someone who leads prayers. I'm not a religious leader, but I do tend to lead prayers on a freelance basis. That is, that whenever there's a need, I substitute for imams when they're gone on trips and that sort of thing. The other things that I do as a freelance imam is, hold study circles, perhaps give a talk here and there. Again, whenever I'm called upon. I'd like to do this full time, but I can't, thanks to you, because of the journalism and the reporting. It leaves me no time to do. But aren't you glad that I got us into something that allows us to help people by writing about important issues and, promoting understanding? Not to mention the decent salary, unlike what you would have probably gotten otherwise. See, I knew it was all about the money. Listen, as far as the money is concerned, I believe that Allah, God, is responsible for feeding me. Allah says in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلَ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Whoever relies on Allah, whoever puts their trust in Allah, Allah is sufficient for them. And this is what I believe. As far as helping people is concerned, I agree. Writing about important issues, promoting understanding, helping people, those things are all good. But loitering around outside an emergency room, trying to find the parents of a kid who's just been hit by lightning, just for a good story, is not what I consider to be helping people. Okay? This is not how we help others. We should be helping people by offering them guidance, by counseling them, by helping them, answering their questions, and helping them in any other way that we can. Come on now, that's an isolated incident. You can't take one incident that occurred, while I was at the Star and use that to judge the entire profession. I understand, but look, at that moment, we should be sensitive. To go after someone looking for pictures of their loved ones at that sort of time is very insensitive. Now, as a journalist, I'm supposed to be impartial, but as an imam, you're obviously heavily biased. Is there a conflict here? We were asked this question, a similar question, a few years ago on a Muslim radio show in Toronto, and the answer is that no, there is no conflict. There is no reporter that doesn't have any biases. Everyone has them. The key, though, is to have the ability to cast those biases aside when working as a journalist and when working especially on news stories. So if someone says something which is relevant to our story, or if there is a fact that is relevant to our story, whether or not we like it, we have to report it.
Why? Because it is our duty to report the facts and to report what people have said if it's relevant to our story. So no, I don't believe there is a conflict. What is key, what is essential for us is to have the right intention. I believe, as the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, has stated, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, that the actions are judged according to their intentions. So if you have the intention to work as a journalist and your intention is to do so for the greater good, to promote good, to help people, then that's wonderful. If I also have similar intentions to help people and to work for the greater good. So as long as our intentions are united, there is no conflict, and that's what I believe in. All right, well, thank you very much for your time. You're welcome, but it's not like I had a choice anyway. I have to lurk around with you wherever you go.